Hi, and welcome everybody to another edition of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast. It's Tuesday, October the 4th, and it's our college football free pick edition. And like every Tuesday, I'm joined by one of the better handicappers in the country today, Mr. Sean Higgs, who's off to a fabulous football start. I know last I looked in the NFL at picksandparleys.net, you were 32-18. That's 64%, folks. With that kind of volume of plays, that'll make you a lot of money. Sean, how are you?
Pretty good, yeah. Not a bad start to the football season, college or NFL, so I'll take it.
Yeah,
And baseball's still grinding along, making a little money too. So it's good
good.
when you get everything working out. That whole wheel spinning, it's a nice feeling.
Now, I know you're a volume player, but baseball, month of September, are you still playing volume, or are you backing off a little in baseball because of
Yeah,
obvious reasons?
a little bit. Like yesterday, I had 4 games, a couple, and I thought I was going to bed like 1-3. I thought the Angels were going to hang on. I had a run line there. Well, I still do my run lines. I'm not laying big numbers, but I took the donut yesterday, and today I came in with a few games. To me, it's kind of, I don't say kind of fade to favorite stuff, but Detroit's been red hot. They've won 9 of 10, so I'll take a shot at them plus 150. I also got the over in that game here. I took the Braves, thinking, you know what, just for all intents and purposes, with like the rain. My thinking is that, Major League Baseball doesn't need some kind of big cluster. So the Braves win tonight. They don't have to worry about the Mets getting rained out and playing Thursday before a Friday game or something. So that's like kind of just the gambler me rolling that out. And a couple dogs. Just I've had a winning season, so I could kind of take some shots at this time of the year. Like I stick with my dog, see what happens here as teams play the last 2 games of the year.
And you got to be careful of favorites too that are locked in their playoff seeding. A team like Houston or the Yankees or
the Dodgers. I haven't played the Dodgers the other day. They were 350 favorite. They lost twice in a row to the Rockies. I wasn't on either of those. I didn't take a dog day or take the Dodgers. I'm like, I see those kind of numbers. I just don't even look at the game. That's a big cross. Get the Sharpie out. Let's move on to the next one.
Yeah, because teams like that are already locked in, they can't improve upon where they're seeding. Like the Yankees are locked in at number 2 in the American League. Like you just alluded to, the Dodgers number 1. And what happens a lot of times is down the stretch, they'll start resting key players to get ready for the playoffs, and they bring up a cluster of AAA players, and they want to see what they have. So you have to be real careful. We only got 2 days left in the regular season, but looking forward, folks, September in baseball is really difficult, and you need to tread a little more lightly, in my opinion, anyway. And I think Sean agrees with me, even though he's a volume handicapper. So instead of 10 plays a day, you're going to get 5.
Yeah, 4 or 5.
Anyway, look at great start to the football season for you, buddy, huh? It's I know I mentioned your NFL record. It's college football, you're around 55%, and a lot of people will shun and say, I could do that on my own. Well, if you make as many plays as Sean does and you hit 55%, you're going to make a lot of money. And folks, you're not going to put the volume of plays out he does and hit 55%. I guarantee you that. If you can, maybe you could do it over a couple, 2-3 week period of time, but not over the long haul the way this guy does. But anyway, fill him in a little bit on what you got going on at picksandparleys.net, that daily video you do every day at 12 Eastern time, correct?
Yes. Yeah. Midday money every day, 12 noon Eastern. Although Saturdays, a little earlier, usually around quarter of, because we have noon kickoffs. And in 30 days, we'll have some college hoop noon tip-offs pretty soon. So the show will move up slightly because I like to hit all the games. And even if I bet them, I'll come in and say, this is what I got going at noon. Boom, boom, boom. Run through every game, give you an opinion on. But a lot of free picks in the midday money show. Again, every day, noon Eastern. And NFL's going well, as I mentioned. And I'm up for a Thursday London game, couple afternoon games. So, and Cubs, I haven't loaded up any packages, but I do got a dozen games locked in for the weekend, right, for college.
I know.
And of course, baseball playoffs. There'll be baseball playoffs too.
How about that? Starting Friday. Before I lose my train of thought, I know this is a college football show, but another thing to keep an eye on in the NFL, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts, Sean, is in past years when teams went over to Europe to play a game,
the bye week,
they would have automatic bye week the next week. Now doesn't occur. I mean, New Orleans is playing this week.
Yes.
Um,
Vikings, Bears.
Minnesota's playing this week. So your thoughts.
I said this last week, and I noticed that on the show. I said, I'm taking Seattle right now +6, and I grabbed them +6. It went down to like a 4.5, 5. It came back up, but I got over 40.5, and it's a 45. Like that was an automatic play for me. Although I always say I can't pick one and not the other, but the Bears, I cannot pull the trigger on the Bears at +7. I might have to tease them to 13. I'd have trouble doing that. I don't care if this team was coming back from Beirut. I mean, like, how are the Bears going to win when you don't throw the ball? Yeah. I just don't see how you're going to win. How are you going to win? You're going to win 3-0? You're going to win 3-2? I don't understand how. I can't. As much as I'll take dogs. I don't care. Like I told you, I grabbed some dogs today in baseball last year. I can't just do it with the Bears.
Yeah.
And again, what happened to the bye week? I don't get it. I don't understand.
I mean, there's more games being played in Europe is the explanation we're getting from the NFL.
The player safety is very important now, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. Just ask Tua. Anyway. All right, let's get to our free picks, buddy. SEC.
Yes.
Nice matchup here. Intriguing matchup. Tennessee undefeated going into LSU. 4-1 on the season for the Bayou Bengals. Lost their opening game by a point to Florida State. They reeled off 4 in a row. Are they up to the task at home against a very talented and good Tennessee team?
Yeah, good game in Death Valley, right? Tennessee's got their bye week coming in. We're talking about teams not getting a bye week. Tennessee gets a bye week in the 3rd week of September. Go figure. I mean, unbelievable there. And now you have Auburn. How LSU beats this Auburn team with 85 yards passing. Their starting quarterback goes 8 of 20 for 80 yards. Like that's not going to cut against Tennessee here. I mean, I like Tennessee. It's 2.5. It's 3. And I was thinking about the under, but I'm like, you know what? Tennessee defense isn't all that special. But LSU, this really comes down to me. And I like Hooker. I think that guy's excellent quarterback. He's got good wide receivers, Tillman, Hyatt, the other guy, I forgot his name, McCoy maybe. All kind of big play guys, all averaging like 15, 16 yards a catch. LSU, how are you keeping up? If you're going to start slow, like you did against Florida State, you're down early at Florida State in that game. What was that, like 20-0 already? Whatever that was. They were down early, came back. And again, most teams, NFL or college, you get up big and all of a sudden you're kind of playing a little loosey-goosey. You're not all there, and then you got a game on your hands. Mississippi State, they scored 21 points again in the 4th quarter there against that. They were, turned that into a game. And last week, 8 of 20 from their QB in that game, 8 of 20 for 85 yards. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you're going to start out like that, that's not going to help you. You got 3 turnovers last week on top of the bad passing to get you that win. I don't see it. These guys, the Vols, have played at Pitt. They played Florida, a couple tough teams. I'm giving Tennessee here, and I don't think it's going to be close. I don't think LSU has the horses on offense. I think Kelly's still trying to figure things out down there. Give me Tennessee minus the number here.
Yeah, well, -2.5 and they're 2.5 or 3.
Yeah.
And
I don't think it matters. I think it's going to be a 7, 8, 10 point.
Yeah.
I don't think it's come down to a field goal. I don't think LSU could keep up. Tennessee's going to throw the ball, move it, and that's that. I mean, this isn't who they play. Like I don't know if they played. LSU played 2 garbage teams. New Mexico, I think they won 38-0, and somebody else. Like I'm trying to think off the top of my head who they played, but it was a nobody squad. This isn't a nobody squad.
They played an FCS team, if I'm not mistaken, in one of their wins as well.
Southern.
Yeah, Southern. They're football powerhouse there. Nothing against the kids from Southern, but they play at the FCS level, and it's tough to compete against these Power 5 conference teams in those situations, especially on the road. You know what, Sean, I can't disagree with you here. Brian Kelly, I think he's done a good job to this point. He took a lot of criticism early on when they lost that game against Florida State. Look, this team was an extra point missed away from possibly being 5-0 at this point. But Tennessee is a good, really, really good, a legitimate top 10 team. And
I think so.
I agree with you on this. Tennessee minus the 2.5 over LSU. If you can get 2.5, you can get 140 or less. I would recommend going to money line if you're following Sean's advice, which you should based on his records. So again, Tennessee is the play from Sean Higgs over LSU. I'm going to take a look at another SEC game, and it comes in the game between South Carolina and Kentucky. Kickoff time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time from Lexington, Kentucky. Right now, the Kentucky Wildcats are a 10.5 point favorite. This was a tough one for me to go over at first. And then I started to use a little common sense. Kentucky coming off their first loss of the year, 22-19 at Ole Miss. They did cover that game as a 6-point underdog, but lo and behold, it was their first loss of the game or year. They played the number 9 team in the country on the road and give them all they could. And then up next for Kentucky is number 23 Mississippi State. In between, you have unranked South Carolina, who comes in, yes, with a 3-2 record, but 0-2 in the SEC. Lost both games in conference play by 10 plus points. I just don't see how, number one, Kentucky is going to be as emotionally charged up as they were the week before at Mississippi. And, and again, with that a big game on deck as well. I think they could win this game, Kentucky, but I think this is one that goes down to the wire in my estimation. South Carolina, 3-2, like I alluded to, but they are coming off back-to-back wins over substandard competition. Last week, 50-10 over South Carolina State. 2 weeks ago, 56-20 over Charlotte. And, here's what I got. And then I got a college football betting angle for you, and it goes back to 1980, as a matter of fact. Anytime you get college football away teams with a win percentage of less than 700, like South Carolina currently possesses at 3-2, and they're playing after game 4 of the season. They're coming off a win by 39 points or more, like South Carolina is, and they're facing an opponent that's coming off a straight up loss, but they covered as an underdog. Those away teams in this situation have gone 14-0 straight up in ATS since 1980 and won by 16.9 points per game. Now that's favorites and underdogs. Now, if they were just an underdog in that situation, they're still 5-0 straight up in ATS, winning by just a shade under 5 points per game. I'm going to take a small shot here, Sean, and take South Carolina here, plus the 10.5 at Kentucky, in a game that I think will be go right down to the wire, be a lot closer than Kentucky fans would hope for. And I'm going to take the underdog in this situation. South Carolina plus 10.5 over Kentucky. And Mr. Higgs, he likes the Tennessee Volunteers on the road, minus 2.5 in their game at LSU. Any thoughts?
I like the dog with you there. Sandwich spot. I think last week, we had Kentucky. I think we had Kentucky in the show last week here.
Yeah. Yep.
So I think they're a run first team. They're going to kind of run again. Sandwich letdown, tough loss. You're right driving at the end there. So I mean, it's a tough way to go down. And I think Spencer Rattler, right, Heisman guy, Heisman guy from Oklahoma, leading the Gamecocks there. So I'll take a shot to 10.5 with you. Why not? That's I like it.
Especially if they could limit their turnovers, because that's what's hurt them early on. South Carolina. I mean, they've turned the ball over way too much. And Kentucky is pretty fundamentally sound. But again, I'm going to depend on the mental frame of mind of both teams going into this game.
Maybe an under as well here, kind of like a slow start to it out of Kentucky out of the gate, after last week.
Yeah, and you mentioned it. They're a run first team, and over the last few years under Stoops, who's a defensive oriented coach to start with, a lot of low scoring games involving Kentucky. So we got you here. South Carolina plus a 10.5 at Kentucky. And Sean, he likes the Tennessee Volunteers minus the 2.5 at LSU. Sean, tell the folks what you may have coming up this week. Again, refresh their memory on how you've been doing of late and where they could find you.
Yep. Pretty good NFL out of the gate. 64% there, 32-18. College, 55%, 30 and no, excuse me. I got to flip my script here. 52-43 for 55% there. Thursday night NFL winners up. I'll have college football up probably tonight. So when Wednesday, tomorrow, I'll have them all up for the weekend. And of course, Major League Baseball playoffs there. So midday money, 12 noon Eastern, 7 days a week. Mr. Sean Higgs on Twitter. You want to give me a follow there? Picks and parlays. Come say hello.
Yeah, picksandparlays.net. You'll see that face you're looking at right now, Mr. Sean Higgs. He hosts that show every day at 12 Eastern time, Monday through Friday, I should say, or 7 days a week.
7 days, every day.
There's
Non-stop get in there.
no rest for the weary, I'm telling you. Anyway, you can find me at rbwins.com or picksandparleys.net. Actually, Sean is number 2 in the NFL as we speak, and I'm number 6 in the NFL at Picks and Parlays. And folks, there's a ton of great handicappers at that site. I was just telling Sean, I've had a fabulous last 30 days, and I'm not even in the top 10 on that site. So that's how good a quality handicappers you have at picksandparleys.net. But you can find me at rbwins.com. Folks, NFL off to a 17-9 start to the season. It's good for 65%. My 10-star top plays, which a lot of people term as their best bets, I've made 5 of them in the NFL this year, 5-0. NFL primetime games, which I heard somebody say on a prior video that the lines are really sharp on these primetime games. Well, not sharp enough, because I'm 7-2 in my NFL primetime Thursday night, Monday night, Sunday night games so far. You want to keep an eye on that. Last night cashed in with San Francisco on the money line over the Rams very easily. And since October 30th of last year, my college football 52-39 for a solid 57%, as we just touched upon, 55 to 57 to 58% with a volume of plays that we give out, folks. You're going to make a lot of money. And the Major League Baseball playoffs start Friday, and I'm going to head into the playoffs, Sean. 5-0 my last 5 in Major League Baseballs. Anyway, for Mr. Sean Higgs and Ross Benjamin, we like to wish each and every one of you all the very best of luck. Good luck and God bless, folks.